Hello and welcome to Amazing Women in Business, a podcast where we celebrate the courage and tenacity of women who are not just participating, but profoundly transforming the business landscape. I'm Demi Lin, your host, and navigating the complexities of personal and professional growth across cultures. Each episode, we dive into stories that resonate deeply, featuring trailblazing women who break through barriers and confront challenges with grace and strategy. Whether you are seeking inspiration to take the next career leap or looking for wisdom to balance personal and professional demands, you are in the right place. Together, we explore not just successes, but the resilience required to thrive in today's dynamic business world. Get ready to be inspired, feel connected, and empower your journey with every story we unfold. In today's episode, I speak with Joka Daly. Born in China, Joka majored in business administration and during her graduate studies in Japan, met her American husband. After finishing their degrees, they moved to China, where they got married and started their family. Eventually, their journey led them to the beautiful mountains of western North Carolina. Driven by the belief that real estate forms the foundations of people's lives and dreams, she became a realtor with a vision to transform raw land into vibrant, thriving communities. Her story is filled with rich insights and personal growth. One of the key moments I loved is when Joka talked about starting her real estate business. She realized that life is not just about battering and achieving. It's about understanding who you are and what you truly want before diving into business. Don't just follow models. Focus on self-discovery first. Joka also faced the challenge of transitioning from a bustling metropolis like Shanghai with over 20 million population to a small town of just 60,000. She struggled to fit in at first, but ultimately embraced the cultural differences and found peace in being herself. One of my favorite takeaways was her empowering message. If you can't hide it, emphasize it. This resonated deeply with me, and I'm sure it will with you too. Without further ado, let's dive into this episode with Joka Daly. Hi, Joka.
Hi,
I'm so glad to have you here.
my pleasure.
I would love to kick off our podcast with a brief introduction of yourself and your background.
Sure. I am Chinese, obviously. I come from China in the Middle South, a small town of 800,000 people. And when I was age 17, went to Shanghai, a mega city of 30 million for university, and stayed there ever since until met my husband in Japan during the college years, and he moved over to China to marry me. And years later, he decided he missed his home in North Carolina, and we unplugged and took the entire family back to North Carolina, and that's where we live now. The town we moved to, the entire county has about 60,000 people. So from 30 million to 60,000, that's quite a change.
Yeah.
That's where we are now. And what we do right now is we are actually a developer / builder and a realtor business over there.
Maybe can you share a little bit more about the industry that you just mentioned? It sounds like a booming industry, and it's very exciting in the United States.
It is, yeah, definitely. There's never a dull moment. So what we do is in this little mountain town of western North Carolina, it's a very unique place. It's very safe, clear seasons and beautiful weather. There's no natural disaster there. So it's and it's beautiful, surrounded by mountains and beautiful creeks and streams and lots of fly fishing and outdoor sports and hiking. So it's just a very unique area that attracts lots of people from all around the US and even around the world to settle for retirement or second home. And what I'm seeing is more young people moving over for the booming medical and healthcare industry over there. So ever since we moved there in 2009, all I see is the housing industry has been booming.
Especially after COVID. A lot of people, they're moving from New York, from the big cities into the beautiful North Carolina area.
Yes, exactly.
Right. So obviously, you moved to the United States for a love story.
That's right. Yes.
And then you get into this industry, which seems to be very exciting.
Yes.
But what really motivated you to pursue this path?
Okay. Well, I would have to go back to Shanghai. So we met in Japan, as mentioned. When we decided to be together, we just freshly graduated. We owned nothing. I was renting in Shanghai, just starting the job, and he just graduated in the U.S. and has nothing to his name. And the house price in Shanghai is just too high for any of us to afford at the time. And we were trying to plan a future. And the way we planned out is we need to have some asset somewhere.
Yes.
Since
I want to have a home.
A home somewhere, yeah.
But that's more like a traditional Chinese. Traditional feeling of I need to have a home.
Well, I guess that's for everyone. Everyone feel need to belong to somewhere, right?
Okay,
You need to have a sense of belonging. I left the home. I don't belong there. I live in Shanghai, but without, I don't really feel belonging yet. I just, as a student, just tossed in the world. Yeah. And but I was starting the job, really promising job. That was with a year.
Okay. Okay. Let me add a little bit background of how we got to know each other. It's almost 20 years ago. I was the sales manager for a company based in Shanghai. And we hired Joka as the management trainee. We aimed at training her to be the super sales star of the logistics industry. And I spent almost 1 year to train her.
Yes.
By the end of the year, Joka came to me and said, sorry, Demi, I have to quit my job. I have to pursue some other interest.
And the other interest is Dave.
That's part of the love story. I couldn't say anything. I did not hold grudge on you.
She gracefully let me go to pursue my dream.
For her to pursue her love story and then her now exciting business.
Yes.
Okay, so let's go back. Back to the
story.
Back
to the beginning. Before I started working for you, that's when we decided to be together. And that was May. I started on June 1st, if you remember. And he just came over and we decided we want to be together, but we need to be able to have a root somewhere. And I was just starting a very promising job and I really wanted to stay. I thought that was going to be my career. So I told him, I am not going to the US right now. If you want to be with me, you are coming to Shanghai.
Take it or leave it.
So he decided, you know what, he just graduated. He wanted to set a route somewhere before he take on this cross the entire world to chase some girl. He needed to have an asset somewhere. So he went back and bought a piece of land from at home in North Carolina. And he worked a full-time job during the day. When he gets up at 4:30, he would go work on that piece of land and start building like stick by stick.
Yes, I remember. I saw a picture of a wood house in the middle of the forest.
Exactly.
Yes.
So he bought the little
here. Good memory of 20 years ago, the picture that I saw.
That's right. So he bought a small piece of land in the middle of the woods. He would go. He spent the entire year to work on that piece of land, and he was sending me pictures to see the progress. So it was all wooded, like nothing but a piece of jungle. So he took equipment, he started cutting the trees, clearing land, and leveling, and started digging foundations, started stick frame the house. So I got to see that entire process of how a piece of nothing turned into a beautiful home, and that was my first home that I could call my own.
Okay, got it.
So he spent the entire year working on that on his off time. And as soon as he finished, he rented it out. He handed off to a property manager to rent it out. And he hopped on a plane and flew over to Shanghai, and we got married.
Yes, now I get the picture. That's
I remember
exciting.
Yes. And a few months later, he was tired of waiting by the office door at 9 o'clock at night, and he told me, I didn't came across the world to not see you. So that's when he convinced me to quit.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Good story. I get it. Again, I don't hold grudge on you.
But that is what started my interest.
Yes.
Was quite a revealing process, or an exciting process, to see a piece of raw land transform into a home.
And help you and Dave, and also help everyone to find their lovely house.
And that was really like the first time I feel a sense of safety net, right?
Yes.
There's some place I can call home, I can go,
yes,
I can fall back to.
I know. So I get it. So that's part of the something that really inspired you.
That is really
the love and belonging.
And the sense of belonging and the sense of safety net.
Yeah.
So when we spent a couple of years in Shanghai applying visa, and when we decided to move back to the US, the first time we didn't have much plan. We didn't, I just had a 6-month-old baby. I thought I could go home and get to see what kind of job do I want to do. At the time, I did not have a plan. But when we moved back in 2009, I realized that I just need to work. I don't care what do I need to do. I just know I need to have a job, because I just cannot be a housewife. Moving to a small town from Shanghai, I was bored out of my head.
Yeah.
And without, with just hanging out with the mom's group and the babies, that's just not the life I want. I was wanting to have some more sense of achievement. Like, I want to do something. I want to have a network, not just a small group of housewives. That was just not the life for me.
So yeah, being a housewife is still fulfillment, but it's just probably not the one that you see that in yourself.
Just not for me.
Yeah. Let's get back to the business. Joka, what was your biggest challenges when you started here?
Well, we knew that he has the skill. He can be a builder, even though he didn't have the license. And we thought about, and I always felt the passion for land, seeing the land transform. We thought about we could continue to be building business, or let's dream a little bigger. We could even be developer, and we could work together in that field. But as a strong-headed woman like myself, he feel like we would be fighting too much if we work on the same business together, right?
Okay. So you can still work together, but need a
so
little bit of something
space
to isolate. Yeah.
Yes.
Give some space. Okay.
So that's when I thought, you know what, I could, to buy land, develop, build a house, and sell. Now you have the build. You can obviously do the build part. What about I become a realtor? I can help buy the land, scout the land, and when the final product is completed, I can help sell. And that way we get to work side by side, but not in the same,
not together all
thing.
The time.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a great idea.
So we actually it was back and forth, right? The first time was a total culture shock. It was not fitting. So we went back to Shanghai to take some job, and was traveling in between. But in 2013, we took a 3-month unpaid leave, and we came over to the US. He got his contract license. I got my realtor's license. And went back to Shanghai, spent a year to wrap things up, and in 2014 moved back to North Carolina.
Yes.
And immediately both started working.
Yes.
And that's when we started to, we started small, with one spec home at a time. So I would say the biggest challenge for me at the time, a little bit about where we are. The little county of 60,000 population is 95% Caucasian. and 95.
5%.
And Asian was not on the chart at the time. I was
Okay.
So I would say that was probably one of my biggest challenge is being so different, and being in a business that's fully depend on people relationship, right? I was a realtor.
Yes.
I was trying to buy and sell aside from our own business, but we couldn't be a developer in one step. We had to just with a one spec home building and actually build our home, the second house we wanted to own. So I would say the biggest challenge is being so different from.
I remember that
everyone.
was in 2014. That time I lived in Tennessee, northeast part of Tennessee, about 2 hours away from your house. And I remember you invited me a lot.
Yeah,
right.
I was desperate.
I'm longing for some Chinese friends to hang out with.
That's right.
That's the time. I remember that.
Yeah.
But so I did observe quite some challenges back then. So can you share a little bit here? Is what are some pivotal moments that change your perspective or help you to build your approach to deal with those challenges?
So I would say at the beginning I was trying to just follow the model. At the time I was with a company that was trying to tell us just be brave and just go out,
make cold calls. Maybe the training that I trained you in your early of your career life to make cold calls, be brave, open-minded.
Yes, just go stomp all over,
sweep the floor.
Exactly.
Yes.
So that was the model the company was also following and trying to tell me like, just go out there, cold calls and sweep the floor and hand out your cards and talk to people and solicit.
Yes.
So that was not doing very well in a little conservative country, of majority Caucasian and me being so different. I would say you met a lot of resistance and also even occasionally ran into Asian that did not go well. And that was when I realized, I just had to stop and think like, is this the right thing for me? Is really is this the right thing? So I had to just take a step back and started to think. And I probably spent about half a year not doing much, but more of concentrate on figuring out what I want to do,
or reflecting on a situation and think about what's going to be your new approach. How can you do differently to change that?
Yeah.
With all those self-reflections to deal with those challenges, do you see any cultural influence on your approach?
I would definitely say yes. Because we grew up in a pretty high pressure and we were told to just go for it, right?
Yes.
You and me are probably the same type. We're just going to be so determined and we're going for it and we're never going to back down. Once we think we're doing the right thing, we're just gonna charge. But during that, the sitting back and trying to recenter myself time period, I still realized that life is not all about the battle. It's there's the life itself first, and I had to stop and think, what do I really want to do in life? It's not really just to make my name on the sales record. It is my life that I'm trying to live. What do I want to achieve in 5 years, 10 years?
Yes.
What kind of business? What's the reason? I had to stop and think, what was the reason I started doing this business and what was the goal I wanted to achieve? Instead of blindly follow the company model of just go cold call and make more sales.
Yes.
That was not my goal. That was not the reason I went into the business. The reason I went into the business is I enjoyed seeing the transformation of a raw piece of land turning into a beautiful home for someone that can live a happy life there.
Wow, that's a perfect statement. And that leads perfectly to my next question about your vision of your business. So I think you kind of answered that. So that's part of your vision, right? So maybe elaborate a little bit more about what's your vision of your business and what's your goals that you want to achieve?
So right now, what we're doing, we're doing small developments. We are about halfway through our first 10 home developments. Our development called Aster Ridge, because when we bought that, the hill is all covered with aster flower.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We started with putting in the road and subdividing the land and put a spec home on it. And now, what about all the lots is subdivided? We already sold the 4 homes and people love it. And every time I hear people say how much they love it and how beautiful the homes are, it's just very satisfying. But the ultimate goal is, I always been fascinated with the idea of mixed use neighborhood. Instead of the rural area, it's more like you have the residential or home developments, and you have the main street, the business area, and people would be always going to the business district to eat and cafe, to diner, and then go back home to the residential development. Well, I always liked the idea of having residential and commercial side by side, or like mixed together, integrated, or like have townhouses or condo above and the business below on the main level.
Yes.
So that way people can just and have a sense of community. People can just walk and visit the neighbor or just meet downstairs at the cafe,
and then maybe have a
drink.
coffee chat.
Have
a coffee break. And
instead of having individual homes that the people feel so isolated.
You have a community, a little bit kind of extended clubhouse to go.
Kind of like you live, you entertain, you can go to your gym, like it's all there. So of course that's going to be a much bigger project. That's the ultimate dream. If one day I would achieve that, that would be the ultimate achievement I would want to have, is to develop a mixed use development.
This is a very well stated vision and goals.
Thank you.
It seems that you took some detours, but you were still able to connect the dots and make it to where you are today.
That's right.
This is awesome. Now, if you have the chance to give yourself an advice 20 years ago when you started, to help yourself avoid those detours or accelerate the learning curve, what would be your advice?
Well, I think at the time I was just so eager to achieve a goal someone else set for me, a certain sales number, or make it sell at a certain point of time. I forgot that I should focus on myself first. I needed to figure out what is my goal, what do I want for life, what is the goal I want to set for myself, and what kind of person am I, or what do I want to do in life. Without that, just trying to fit into someone else's goal,
it's not going to work.
It's not going to work. That's right.
So you take a pause. Think about who you are.
That's right.
Reflect on your strength, and then tap into your strength.
That's right.
And then things will follow.
That's right.
That's great. So another question is, do you have any other advice that you are going to give to the other amazing Asian women in the United States?
Yeah, that I would say, I see a lot of newcomers. I think it's a great country. More and more immigrants come in here, bringing diversity, which is great. I see a lot of them arriving and trying to fit into what they think the society's expectation for them is. But I want to say, embrace the difference. And that's what makes this place great, is we are all different.
So you embrace the difference instead of hide and avoid the difference.
That's
you
right.
embrace it.
That's right. Yeah.
Or you proactively bring in the differences.
Yeah.
And that help people understand and see who you are, and help the local people to explore the differences.
Right. Yeah. Just like we were talking about, we want to bring in a crawfish festival to my little mountain town.
Yes. Okay. So that's the story. Joka and I, we went to crawfish festival yesterday
6 hours
in Johnson City. I flew 8 hours all the way from Philadelphia, and Joka drove for almost 2 hours. And both of us, we went to the crawfish, and we ate above 150 crawfishes.
I lost the count long ago.
And then during the crawfish, Joka was talking about, this is so great. I would like to talk to the organizer, and I want to make one in your town.
In my town.
And now I get it. I think that's exciting, and I kind of understand your motivation.
Yeah, it's something different, and you know, people may or may not like it, but I'm going to try.
And it's going to be, first of all, it's going to be a lot of differences for people who live in that town.
That's right.
A lot of them, they might never ever ate crawfish before. Right. And now you bring in the crawfish festival and help them get to know how to do the messy crawfish eating, how to use your fingers, and how to try not to eat, try to eat crawfish in a grateful way.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I get it. I think.
Yeah. So what is different? You know.
Yes.
I embrace it.
Yeah, I made a connection here. I see your motivation of doing that crawfish festival in your town. Not only embrace the differences, but also bring in the differences proactively.
That's right.
And help the people to explore.
That's right.
And have more diversity. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so now let's tap into your personal stuff. You moved into the United States in your late 20s. How was it like when you first landed? And how is it now, today?
Well, I first moved, there's definitely a lot of culture shock that I tried to figure out, and totally new place and very different from where we are, and no connection. Had to create everything from scratch. I think it was a bit hard. I have to say, be honest. You know, it was hard at the beginning for sure. But once I started to realize what do I want, what do I enjoy doing, I'm enjoying it myself now. Like, one, I love meeting strangers. So being in the business, not only I get to meet strangers all the time, I get to hear their stories, right? Like, it's fun to meet them. And also I have discovered my passion for the nature. So I'm like doing lots of gardening, learning about different plants and what I can do with this beautiful weather and environment, what can grow from the land. And also it's such a place with lots of opportunities for crafts and arts, so I'm just tapping into a lot of that. I never pass an opportunity to check out an art fair or a craft fair, or go take a class at the community college to learn how to make furniture. You know, just try different things all the time.
Yeah, and that's something that's also helping you to relax yourself.
That's right.
And charge yourself. Yeah, I like it. So this is probably going to be my closing question. Out of a lot of different resources today, and then what would you like to share with the audience? What would be your favorite resource? Like book, podcast, YouTube channel, or whatever you would like to recommend to people?
Okay. Well, if you are like me, you don't know what you really want to try and figure out what you want, I would recommend the great courses. I think it's available.
Courses.
Yeah, it's available on Audible. The topic covers everything and anything. Either you want to learn about the science, history, or geography, or the earth, or about the health, or business, or self-growth. They've got a course for everything. You can just search, and you know, you can always try it out. Just learn something new. Just see what you like.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to check out. Thank you so much, Joka, for coming here, being my guest, and sharing such an incredible and amazing story. Thank you.
Thank you.
So much fun.
Yeah.
And thank you, everyone, for listening. I will see you next time.
Thank you for joining us on Amazing Women in Business. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to our podcast and leave us a 5-star review. Don't forget to share this episode with another amazing woman in business who will benefit from our community and content. Together, we can empower more women to achieve their full potential. Until next time, keep thriving and breaking barriers.